Hello everyone, my name is Damian, and this is the Horror Docx podcast. Tonight, I'll share the chilling true story of Sarah Sands, a mother of 5 who reached her breaking point. Her case shocked the United Kingdom and made people ask, where is the line between justice and revenge? Sarah lived in a modest flat in Canning Town, East London. Life was exhausting, but she worked tirelessly to keep her 5 children safe. Yet safety was impossible, because right next door lived a man whose presence would destroy her peace of mind. His name was Michael Pleasted, a 77-year-old who appeared to be nothing more than a harmless old neighbor. He smiled, greeted people, and seemed friendly. But behind that smile was a decades-long history of darkness. Pleasted had been convicted multiple times of sexual abuse against children, had served time in prison, and even changed his name to disguise his past. Somehow, he always found his way back into neighborhoods, back near families, back near children. In 2014, he was charged again, this time accused of abusing 2 young boys. One of them was Sarah's son. For any mother, the shock of learning such a thing would be unbearable. But what made it worse was this. Despite the charges, Pleasted was released on bail. He stayed in the very same building. In fact, his flat was directly next door to Sarah's. Imagine the horror. Each day, Sarah had to walk past his door. Her children had to hear his footsteps in the hall. The police told her to wait. The courts told her, justice takes time. But waiting meant living in fear. Waiting meant being trapped beside the man accused of abusing her own child. As the weeks dragged on, Sarah's fear hardened into desperation. She described later that she felt cornered, powerless, and angry. On the night of November 28, 2014, her patience finally snapped. After tucking her children into bed, Sarah grabbed a kitchen knife, slipped it into her jacket, and walked to her neighbor's door. Michael Pleasted opened the door. He wore that same smile. Sarah confronted him, begging him to admit what he had done, to confess so that her children wouldn't have to endure a court trial. But instead of remorse, he smirked. He denied everything. And in that moment, something inside Sarah shattered. The fear, the rage, the exhaustion of being a mother with no way out, all of it exploded. She stabbed him. Once, twice, again and again. Pleasted stumbled, tried to crawl into the hallway, but she continued until he collapsed on the floor, bleeding to death. When it was over, Sarah didn't run. She didn't hide. That same night, she walked to a police station and confessed, "I did it." These weren't the words of a vigilante boasting about revenge, but the exhausted confession of a mother who felt she had no choice left. In 2015, her case went to trial. Prosecutors charged her with murder. The facts were undeniable. Pleasted was dead, killed by Sarah Sands. But was it truly murder? Or was it something else? An uncontrollable explosion of emotion. The jury heard about Pleasted's past, the accusations he faced, and Sarah's state of mind. In the end, they acquitted her of murder. Instead, she was convicted of manslaughter by loss of control. The judge sentenced her to 3.5 years in prison. He recognized her extreme circumstances and the fact that she had turned herself in. But he also emphasized that vigilante justice could not be tolerated. But the story did not end there. In January 2016, the Attorney General argued that her sentence was too lenient. The Court of Appeal agreed, doubling her punishment to 7.5 years. The ruling made it clear, no matter how evil the victim may have been, killing him was still a crime. Justice must come through the courts, not through the blade of a kitchen knife. And yet, outside the courtroom, public opinion was divided. Many sympathized with Sarah. Many parents said they understood why she did it. And years later, the most powerful words came from her own son. In an interview, he said, "We were glad that she stopped him," a sentence that revealed the raw truth of how victims feel, regardless of what the law says. So what do we make of this case? On one hand, Sarah Sands killed a man. She broke the law. That fact cannot be erased. On the other hand, Michael Pleasted was a serial predator who had spent decades hurting children, and the system failed to keep him away from families. Faced with that failure, a desperate mother took action. This case forces us to face difficult questions. What happens when justice moves too slowly? What happens when the vulnerable are left unprotected? Do we see Sarah as a criminal or as a mother pushed beyond her limits? There are no simple answers. Perhaps both are true. To the law, she was guilty. To her children, she was their protector. And to society, her story remains a haunting reminder of how thin the line between justice and revenge can be. This was the story of Sarah Sands. I'm Damian, and this has been the Horror Docx podcast. If you found this story powerful, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Tell me what you think. Was Sarah Sands a murderer, or a mother who did what she felt she had to do?